Hi there, folks. I'm joined by my little dog Tilly today because she does like to sit on my lap sometimes when I'm working. So it's better than having her sort of whining away on the floor. So today I am doing a book review, and I have just been reading A Possible Life by Sebastian Faulks. Now, as you probably know, Sebastian Faulks wrote Birdsong, which is one of the most incredible books I've ever read. And he's probably one of the only authors that can actually make me cry, real tears. There's a particular scene in Birdsong, I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about, which absolutely had me in floods. So you know when you pick up a Sebastian Faulks book that he doesn't pull any punches, and you know he can be quite raw at times. I picked this up because I just love his writing. It's a very unusual book. It's a novel, but it looks like just a series of 5 short stories. So the main character in each story is a completely different person in a completely different time period in a completely different place. And when you start to read, or as you're reading, you do keep wondering, why is this a novel? You know, because they just seem like completely separate stories. But very, very subtly, it's so clever, so subtly, you begin to see little links, little resonances of how the different characters in the stories are somehow linked. And what I find fascinating, in the last story, which is about a female musician set sort of more or less in the 60s, where she and her boyfriend, who is the narrator in that particular story, put together albums of songs. And I think that's very clever, because basically it's also what he is doing in the book, putting together stories that are really connected by the human condition. And he asked the question, I mean, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but basically the whole question of the book is, are we separate people? Do we just lead separate lives? Or are we living out some kind of same story? That's the only way I can explain it. You have to read it to really get that. And it's absolutely fascinating. Now, just a word of warning. As I said, Sebastian Faulks doesn't pull any punches. The first story does have a section where the main character spends some time in a concentration camp during the Second World War. It's harrowing reading at that point. So if you're a sensitive soul like I am, I had to read those bits in very, very short pieces, because I find sections like that very upsetting. But you know, there you go. You can't read a really, really good author sometimes without having to experience those bits of humanity where humanity goes horribly wrong. And it's important that we do, because if we ignore those things, then that's when these things could happen again. I think Sebastian Faulks is one of our most important writers. It's an incredibly brave book. The way it's written is so unusual. To actually set out and do that is quite an extraordinary thing. And as a writer myself, I find that very inspiring. The Sunday Times says it does what any good novel should. It unsettles, it moves, and it forces us to question who we are. Absolutely right. Good novels should do all of those things. So if you like the sound of that, if you like Sebastian Faulks, if you like novels that ask questions, yeah, I would go ahead and buy a copy of that. So there we go. I don't know what I'm reading next, but sooner or later I will be doing another book review. So please do subscribe and like and comment. The more you do that, the more it helps my channel. So I'm really, really grateful, and I'll always reply to your comments too. So I will see you again soon. Bye for now.